got me thinking how short life is and to make the most of every moment. My dad lived his life up until 78. I think the hardest part of losing my dad was to watch how quickly he deteriorated in the last few weeks. In a way, I'm glad the cancer was very aggressive. We didn't have to watch him suffer for too long. Even when he was diagnosed, he was in great spirits and never once showed us any signs of being sad about it. After his big op, he was singing "Que sera, what will be, will be." I'll never forget how strong he was, which sort of made it easier for the family to deal with the news. I'm glad we got to spend some amazing times with my dad before his passing. As a family, we went on a couple of family outings and had a lovely birthday bride with close friends and family. Some of my fondest memories of my dad was as children. We used to sit around the dining room table and he used to tell us funny stories of his childhood days. My sisters and I found it quite entertaining and often used to beg him to tell us just one more story. He also had a great passion for boats and used to sit at the dining room table making them out of wood. He was so creative. He used to use broken lighters, whiskers from cats, wood from one of the trees in the garden, and many more. He had a great eye for detail. He made many boats over the years and gave them to people that had impacted his life as a token of thanks. I will also miss our long chats about sport and watching some of the games together. My dad was the breadwinner of the family, taking care of my mother and my two sisters and myself. He was a very soft-spoken man, but stern when he needed to be. Most of his sternness came my way, as you know how boys can be. He took good care of my mother and had a really good heart. He was very fond of his only two grandchildren, Amy and Logan. My mother and father spent many weekends looking after them and grew quite attached. I'm glad my children got to know their grandparents well, as my sisters and I were less fortunate. I speak for my kids and myself in saying that we have many fond memories of Opa, and he will always be in our hearts and loved. And then I'd just like to share a little piece that I actually got from one of Bronwen's, I think it was Father's Day cards or birthday cards that she gave him. All that you are has been a major force in my life. I've come to understand and accept that our lives have been brought together for a reason. Your love and acceptance are what I need to grow to my fullest potential. Thank you for the person you are. Your many talents, your creative nature, and your ability to express both strength and gentleness have taught me many things. Thank you for your love and caring over the years. You have seen my best and my worst, and have loved me. The bond we have found is everlasting. Thank you for being my guide. I love you.
We had a wonderful grandfather. One who never really grew old. His smile was made of sunshine. What's that called?
Maybe Andrew can read it for us.
We had a wonderful grandfather, one who never really grew old. His smile was made of sunshine and his heart was solid gold. Grandfather kept the garden, a garden of the heart. He planted all the good things and kept the house well organized. That gave our lives their starts. Thanks, Alex.
I wrote this poem myself. My grandpa was the best. He was the longest grandpa I ever knew. And if you don't believe me, I'm telling the truth. He was very kind and sweet. And if you didn't know him, old boy,
Dear Dad, thanks for everything you did for us. Bringing up three kids on mostly a single salary was not easy. Some of the things I remember about you is when you used to bring stickers home for us from work, and we also used to go with you to work and get a tour of the whole factory. Your Sunday nights, southern fried chicken. Other people wanted to get your recipe and really enjoyed the southern fried chicken. Later this then became chicken stir fry, which became the Sunday meal. All your stories from our childhood, like you used to tell us about catching crayfish, and then also the one time when you were out with your friends and you fell into a drain and you had to get rescued. Our trips to visit our granny in Grahamstown, where we used to play games in the car on the way there to take the time up. And then the boats that used to make for us and for all of us and our friends, which we took to the beach and ran, took it through the water. You loved doing things with your grandchildren and telling them all your stories. And just a few things that stood out to me on your characters, that you did not let things get you down. While you were having radiation, you fell in the shower and had to have a pin in your hip, which caused a bit of a hiccup for your radiation treatment, and you just took it all on your chin and just kept going on. I don't recall you complaining about any of this. Even when you received your prognosis on your colorectal cancer, you just adapted to it and did not complain. One of my most recent memories was when we came to visit you at the hospital after you'd had an infection. And when we walked into the hospital, you said, how did we get into the hospital? And we were like, well, we just walked in here. And then my dad proceeded to tell us that the hospital was under siege and that they were bombing the hospital. Clearly he didn't do very well with the antibiotics because they had this effect on him. Although you're still not with us, you will continue to live on in us. I love you, Dad.
I'm just going to say something very short, and then I've got some thank yous as well. Something I remember about my dad was he was a very kind person, and I think like also if he felt that someone was being unfairly treated, he'd really like stick up for that person. He really loved to mentor people as well, so he loved to tell us a lot of things. He had a wonderful general knowledge, and he would often write things down. There's something actually we discovered afterwards when we were clearing out some things in the dining room. If he found out about something from his newspaper, because he loved to read a newspaper every day, he'd actually write that word down and then write down the meaning so that he would remember that. And we found a whole lot of little bits of papers with some really random stuff that we thought was quite random, but to him it meant quite a lot. So like what Andrew said about him always being, the details were important to him. So, and then something I also remember about when he was in hospital, he had a way of always charming the nurses. They always told us what a wonderful patient he was and how sweet he was. And he also used a bit of humor. So one of the nurses told me that while he was in hospital for the last stint, he really wanted some water, but they were so busy and they didn't really get there quickly. So he made a joke with her and said, oh no, I know why the water came slowly, because we've got water restrictions here in Cape Town. So she thought that was nice to throw in a bit of humor. And then also the one day when we had video called in from the hospital, whenever he had a MRI or a scan, he always said he felt like he'd gone to space. So the first thing he told us when we came on the video call was, "I just got back from space, guys." And I thought that was really nice when, at that stage he was quite frail at that time, and for him to throw in a bit of a joke there, I thought that was quite special. And another thing I always remember about my dad was he really loved his grandkids. He loved doing things, and I think Logan's also developed quite an interest in gardening, and I think that's mostly to him, to my dad's credit. And he's also very keen on his woodwork. But I think he spent wonderful time with the twins, and that really, they were really very special to him. And then also throughout his fight with cancer, he was just so positive, and it really stood out to me and just showed me that when I go through hard times, I can also just be positive and just keep putting one foot in front of the other, because he just said that he was really grateful for every new day that he had. And as Andrew mentioned, he'd always say, "Okay, Sarah, whatever will be, will be." And I think it's sometimes really a great way to live your life, to not worry too much about what's coming next, but to just take things one step at a time. Okay, so that's all from my side with speeches, and then we just like to say a few thank yous. Thank you to each and every one of you for the role that you've been in my dad's life and in the loved ones of my dad, and the amazing support that you guys have given us over this time. It's really been great, and we just want to say a big thank you. I know, as Andrew mentioned, some of you have also come from far today, and we really appreciate that. Then the St. Luke's Hospice ladies have been absolutely fantastic. They helped us with practical needs. They helped us set up my dad's room with a hospital bed and all sorts. So that was really wonderful. And then Tracy, the social worker, has been checking in with us quite often. So that's been wonderful, the support we've had there. And then the Monison Mediclinic, the staff were amazing. They gave him such amazing care there. Especially, I'm just mentioning people in their absence. Michelle and Rosalie was his carer. And then Dr. Cameron was amazing, the palliative doctor. He was really fantastic. He kind of just took over everything and helped us plan things, so that it took a lot of our anxiety and worry away. Then thanks to Dave for your support and all the pictures and just being really patient this week. It's been quite a hectic week, and I think Dave's really just been there and helped wherever he could. And then Amy and Logan, thank you so much for all you guys have done. You've been with your dad, you've cheered him up, you've helped us with the gardening, helped us in the home as well. So I think that's everyone. Mom, are you sure you don't want to say anything? Okay. All right, and that's
Anyone else?
Oh, I just wanted to say a quick little. Okay, that's fine. Can I just say a quick little prayer quickly while I'm still here, and then we can open the floor. Dear Lord, we just want to thank you so much for my dad and having shared his life with him, and just for blessing us with him and with his presence. And we just pray that you just be with each one, Lord, and just comfort them at this time. Lord, we just pray that we also just be there for each other, and for those who are traveling back, that you just give them journey mercies back again. And then open the floor to anyone, if anyone wants to say.
Does anyone want to say anything? Oh.
Thank you so much, everyone. You talk about being a mentor. I think Jacki, Bronwen spoke about it. That's exactly what he did. I think there's some people were not prepared to learn, and it caused that because I always showed the interest that he always took kindness to me. And he always appreciated, and he always used to say to me, come with me, let's go to town quickly, I need to go to the bank, let me just go get some money. And then he would come around here, and or we would go back to work or whatever it is. But there was always a situation that he created that I could come out with him and do little things with him. He was a person that was very kind. In actual fact, when I look, and I know somewhere in scripture it speaks about he was a good man, and maybe I'll find it and I'll send it to you, Brigid. But that's what he was, a kind man. He was a good man, because whatever he did, he gave of himself. He was never selfish. He shared his knowledge. He was prepared to uplift. He never judged people. And I want to say a quality that I take a leave out of, and that is often what happens, one look at someone's life and one have an opinion, because the opinion is based on what we see and what we understand. But one don't know the inner relationship that person has. And that's a very key factor. Only God knows that. And when God knows that, in the way that he presented himself, sometimes as Christians we do make the mistake that we think that we do all the things that we needed to do, or we say the right things. But actually, when it comes to showing it in our lives, we lack that. He led by that example. He didn't speak it, he showed in the way that he did. And that for me is one of the things that I always take it out of his life, and I want to apply. I want to say to Brigid, I want to thank you for taking care of him. One of the things when our last visit, when we sat in the garden there, I would have thought that he would have shared some of the things that we talked about at work, which he never did. And as the first thing, I think Brigid said, I never knew that. But it was such a beautiful experience of the things that we shared. His music, I was influenced by his music because he bought a cassette of Bruce Springsteen, and that became also. I also went to go look at it, and I went to buy it, you know. But that's the influence that he had in what he did, and that's what I love about him, and that's what I appreciate. I want to take it a step further. Why I'm so thankful and grateful, the influence he had. I had a person in my life, I was very late in life. I started to be interested in girls. So then, about 30, I was 30 years old, and this young lady, beautiful personality, she came and she, and we started, our courtship, and then after about 3 months, I said, I would like to go and introduce you to my parents. Is that okay? Yes, okay. And then, of course, my dad was bowled over by this girl. Mom very quiet. So I go home, and I take her home, and then I came back, and I said to Mom, you've been awfully quiet. What do you say? She said to me, she's a wonderful person, but that's not the person for you. I said, okay, explain. She says, no. You speak to the Lord and ask him to guide you so that he can provide the right person for you. And as I started to test, obviously, the situation, I discovered, no, there's certain things that we just didn't gel. I said to her, we'll remain as friends, but that's would be the end of the road for our relationship, which we still remain friends till this day. And then, of course, the Monday, I came in, and of course, the first thing that he said to me, how's the love life, you know? Because obviously he knew my life, and he said to me, man, why don't you look at that? There's such a beautiful girl, Colleen. She's homely, she's spiritual, she's churchly, all the things that you do. There's the person. So, no, never thought of that. Today she's my wife, and we've been together 27 years, and really by grace. That's the man that directed me, because God has instructed, said, just tell that young man to live properly. That was the kind of person that he was. And you know, I often speak about him when I come to people, because I find today in life you don't find mentors anymore. That's the sad thing. People don't mentor young people anymore. And he was a brilliant mentor, and I appreciate that I had the privilege to work with him, to know him, and to take from him what built me. There's so many other things and things that a person can speak of, but I just want to, again, I say, you will experience a wonderful reward for the things that you've done, and how faithful you remain to him. I want to say to you as the children, the good that your father did, that legacy, that's a blessing. And you will enjoy that benefit. Take advantage of that benefit, of the good that he has done. And with your children, may that be the way that you look forward and draw from that blessing that you can provide for your children into the future, so that the legacy, as my father once said to me, when I speak to you, I speak to 400 people, and I said, I don't understand what you're saying. He says, when I tell you something, that down the line you will speak to people and you'll remember the things that I taught you. And only then it made sense. And I want to say, do the very same thing. The good, the kindness, let that live forever. Thank you for the opportunity.
Jeff, I'm going to say something.
Okay, Deb wants to say something.
Yeah, my first memory of Uncle Eddie was when I got invited for dinner with Jacki and her mom. And Jacki's mom was very quiet, but the thing that struck me about Uncle Eddie was a very intelligent man. And you could have like very intense conversations with him, and very knowledgeable person as well. His memory was like insane, like really, really good. And I've got a couple fond memories of him. One particular memory of, I think he only got upset with me ever once, and it was related to Jacki. But we were still dating at the time, and I remember coming in here, and he's like, it's over between them, and Jacki wasn't here. But anyway, we quickly got back together again. Probably my most fond memory I have of him was 2010 Soccer World Cup. I had a couple tickets, and I took him to the first game, which was Uruguay-Paraguay. And he ended up, I used to work in town at a law firm, and we sat there from early, and we had a few drinks, and then we went up the fan walk, and it was, we partied all the way up the fan walk. Needless to say, I didn't last the whole game. I had to leave early, but it was awesome. And he still kept the ticket stub, because it was one of the highlights, like one of the most special things. Also, just like random things, like taking him out for breakfast. I said to him, Uncle Ed, I'll take you for breakfast to Canal Walk, to Mug and Bean. And one thing that really struck me, like I say, he was a very intelligent man. And you could have a very good, intense conversation, and he will be missed.
Cool. Does anyone else want to say anything, or should we have some eats? Anyone else? Okay. Andrew's going, just for COVID reasons, Andrew's gonna dish up. We've got tongs for the food, and then we've tried to put the cool drinks into tins and things like that. So it is going to be a little bit different, but we're in different times. Okay, cool.